Hello, everyone, and welcome to Kindy Rockstars. This is the show that gives you the stories behind the songs from some of the best bands and singers that are making fun, informative, educational, catchy, and occasionally silly songs for children and families. I'm your host, Patrick Adams, and each episode of Kindy Rockstars will feature an artist and a featured song. So let's get to this week's show. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Kindy Rockstars. Special treat tonight. I have a returning guest, Twinkle Time, and in her season 2 podcast, which go check out, by the way, she mentioned some projects that she's working on, and she's here today to talk about one amazing project that has now come to life. So, Twinkle, first of all, welcome back to the show, and then let us know what's going on.
Thank you always for having me. I know I was really excited and I was like on pins and needles, like our last conversation. I was like, oh my God, I've been so quiet about this for the longest time and I couldn't say anything. And then now I can talk all about it. So the big project was that I just maybe like a couple weeks ago debuted a new show called Snatcher and Twinkle Time, which is currently airing in a couple of the Northeast markets on PBS, and it's on pbs.org, and it will gradually go and move to other markets around the country. But so that was the big news that I wasn't able to share at the time, but I wanted to so bad.
So I have so many initial questions about this.
Yes.
First of all, tell us about Snatcher.
Oh, Snatcher. Well, he's this cute little mischievous, fun raccoon. So the show is animation and I'm the live action. So it's from an intellectual property, originally how it started, called Snatcher and Friends, and it was created by 2 amazing educators, and they had been working on a certain curriculum called phonemic awareness, and for a really long time, and then just recently, maybe within the last couple of years, created like an animation cartoon series and an app and everything, but they wanted to kind of like take it in another direction and kind of keep building and expanding. So Snatcher is actually one of the characters from Snatcher and Friends, and he's the one that snatches the sounds because it's like an educational show. It's all super cute, and I'm the live action part of the show. So basically when I'm filming, I'm, interacting with nobody, just my imagination. And so he's originally, it's kind of like, think of it as like a spin-off. So, but he's originally from the Snatcher and Friends intellectual property.
So what are like each of the episodes about? Are they like different themes to it, and how many episodes are out so far?
So there is 5 currently that are going, on PBS, I think they now are on heavy rotation. So like in the select market. So like it's like even airing like in Ontario, Canada. It's like kind of cool. Like but it's and I never know what episode is airing what, but they're interstitials. So they're less than a minute. And so or about a minute, and then they play during like the kid programming of whatever that block is during the day. It's obviously educational curriculum based. Every episode it focuses on a different word. So phonemic awareness is about blending certain words and removing certain sounds. So that's something that I had to learn myself. And because I'm also I got to write all the episodes and direct, and it was kind of like super cool how like this whole project came about. It was like, I think almost a year ago, literally around this time, I got a DM on Facebook, and which isn't unheard of. I've had a lot of, different opportunities come to me on DMs on social media. And I was like, is this for real? And, you always have to do your research. And I did my research, and it was actually like a legit production company. And so then conversations started, like Zoom conversations with the production company. So there's like the two educators that created the whole intellectual property who partnered up with the animation production company. So I was in contact. The people that contacted me was the animation production company. And apparently, and I now kind of tell this to everybody, like when you least expect that people are watching you and just watching you in general, like you always need to put your best foot forward, because people really are watching. Like I was doing, as you know, like a daily virtual stream on YouTube, because we weren't touring, and doing that since the lockdown started. And it was honestly because of that's how I was approached with this. And so I was like, oh my God, that's so crazy. Like I only thought it was like people that followed me and had been to my shows, but people were actually, tuning in and taking notice. And so I was originally approached as a host, just like, we're looking for somebody to host this, bring this live action part of it, come to life. And then as our conversations progressed, because I had multiple conversations, it was like, they were auditioning me, so to speak. And like they started asking, well, who, produces your music videos? And I said, oh, my husband and I. And who directs them? I'm like, I do. And who writes the music? I'm like, my husband and I. So like, they were like, really? And so I was been asked so many questions. So they were like, oh my God, we would love to bring you on as a third production company. And I was like, sweet. And so then, more conversations and contracts and all that stuff got involved. And that's how it came to life, so I was super fortunate that I got to write and direct, and Dallas like edited all the pieces, all the segments, and he did all the underscoring and this like the music, he was like the music supervisor, adding all the elements and adding the animation that was given to him and cutting them into these really cute little 1-minute interstitial episodes. So it was pretty cool, and it was cool to like be able to bring on friends of mine that have worked on all my projects, like my makeup artist, my very good friend who helps like in creating all my fantabulous looks and wigs, and actually pay them for the first time. So, that was really nice. So it was really cool. We filmed all episodes in a day, and it was a long day, and it was quite a learning experience, I think, for all of us, because they had only done animation, hadn't mixed live action with animation, the animation house. So it was a learning process for all of us, and I think the end product came out really well, and it's being well received. So yeah.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about, if you've gotten any feedback specific to people that have seen it, like maybe who have never seen you or your videos or your music, but they've seen you on this. Has that introduced them to you?
I think so. I think where it's introducing me is more in the education, like the educational realm, I guess, of like teachers, right? Because they're the ones that would be using this even in classrooms, because it's bringing fun into education, you know? So I'm kind of like the, I don't know, like the Lucille Ball of these episodes, right? And so it's teaching kids, you know, like for example, there's an episode that the first episode that aired was the word is sticks, like drumsticks, and then if you remove one sound, then or a couple sounds and make it a, like the instead of the it, and now it's a, it's sticks turn into steaks. So that's like the gimmick right there, is that, you know, I'm learning how to play the drums, and he takes, and I'm like a horrible drummer, and so Sound Snatcher has this crazy idea that he's going to change it to steaks, and all of a sudden I'm like the world's best steak drummer. So it's like, it's fun things like that that kids will also, the phonemic awareness is also introducing kids, because we all learn differently, our brains work differently, like the colors, you know, and there's like bubbles and in the videos that emphasize the sounds. So it's like kids are also like, again, because we all learn very differently, some people are visual, some people you're audio, so like it's really well done. And I just had so much fun doing it, and I think there's opportunity for more, but definitely I feel like I'm being introduced, because I'm not singing in these, it's, you know, it's acting, and so I'm being introduced into like a whole different, you know, market. But I'm still Twinkle, so I still talk about like me being on the road, and you know, like there's always a part of me in every single episode.
So how do you hear about the markets? Are you kind of kept in touch with, hey, this is where it's airing now, but here's where it's going to be airing, and do you get any
So
like data?
yes. Yes. So right now, like I mentioned, it's like Ontario, Canada, some part of Ohio, Pennsylvania, New Jersey. Like there's certain things. So then as they keep adding, because you know, I always thought like PBS was just like this one big conglomerate where, you know, once it's out, it's on all PBS, but it doesn't work that way. So every station is its own entity. So now they can pull the episodes, anybody, you know, like here in Los Angeles or in Wyoming or wherever, you know, and put it in their daily rotation. So they do a good job at keeping us informed, and yeah, it's interesting. It's kind of cool to be like, yeah, I've got like a little stamp now on PBS.
There you go. Yeah, I know. Expanding your reach. I love it. Because your
Yeah.
songs and your videos are great. And now you're getting into acting, kind of back into acting, because you have a bit of a background in that, right?
Oh, yeah. Like, I mean, I started obviously in theater and then did a lot of TV. Like, I reoccurred on some really big shows when I was a tween, a teen, and starred in my own shows, you know, a couple different ones. So, but I literally dropped all of that once I really wanted to focus and put all the eggs in Twinkle Time basket. And so I stopped all of that. So it's obviously like I've had, you know, I've written and I've pitched ideas and stuff for like my own show of how like I visualize a Twinkle Time show to be, and I've had almost deals at different, you know, um, networks, but for whatever reason it didn't pan out. It wasn't the right time or the right deal. That's like the big thing, because sometimes, you know, they offer you like a really low ball deal, and you're like, yeah, no, that's like, I already make money touring. Like, this is not like, if I was 20, I'd be like, oh, that sounds like an amazing deal. But in retrospect, it's not, you know? So it wasn't the right deal at the time, or, you know, as the business is always changing and evolving. Like I've had the unfortunate situation where I had like a deal like signed and ready to go, and then that company merged with a Canadian company. So all deals that hadn't already started production got like thrown to the wayside, and that was me. So like one day it will happen. But again, I couldn't turn down this deal for many different reasons. One being that I didn't seek this opportunity. It like literally knocked on my door, on my DMs. It slid into my DMs, and I was just like, what are the chances? So I was just like, no, I want to make this happen. And also it was such an awesome opportunity on many different levels, because we got to be hired on, Dallas and I, as not just like the face, and the host, but co-producers, writer, director, as a full-on production house. So it was a collaboration with the three entities: the animation, ourself, and the educator that is the actual intellectual property. So it was something, and we all had we still have a wonderful time, talking about it, and of other potential opportunities that can arise. So, and I just thought, it's a different tentacle of Twinkle Time. It's like the educational component, so that was exciting for me.
Well, this sounds like a lot of fun. And
yeah,
for people who aren't in the markets that it's currently airing, how can they go and see this?
So if you're not in the specific markets, you can actually go to two different locations. You can go to pbs.org and look up Sound Snatcher and Twinkle Time. They should pop up that way. If they don't, just look up Sounder and Friends. And then also you can go to YouTube, which we're encouraging everybody to go to YouTube. And you can watch all day, every day. They're short and fun. And you can just watch it on a loop. And it's Sounder and Friends YouTube channel. So, and then so far they're releasing one episode every single week. So far two have been released, which is the Sticks and Steaks, and also the one that just came out, which is Wig and Pig. That's the word. And then a new one. So a new episode comes out every Monday. So a new episode will be coming out this Monday. I believe it's probably 6 a.m. East Coast time. So here on the West Coast, it'll debut at 3 a.m. But yeah, so Sounder and Friends on YouTube, pbs.org. And if you're in the markets, I'll let you know what those markets are. So you can post later or whatever, when you're writing stuff in a caption, what markets those are. But I was like, Ontario, Canada, that's cool.
Very good. Well, Twinkle, I am so excited for you.
Thank you.
It feels like you're meant for this, and you'll get your show one day. I'm certain of it. Just get that right deal, obviously.
Yes.
And
yes.
Thank you for being a good friend and a good friend of the show. And everybody,
of course,
please go check this out. And thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much. And thank you, everybody, go tune in. Just watch it. They're a minute long.
Perfect length. All right. Well,
Yes.
Great talking to you again, and best of luck with this.
Thank you so much.